Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all excellent. Let's sink our teeth into this new Fractal beta release for the Fx III number 15. There is a brand new amp model, the jumped bassman model. There's a Boss DS1 distortion model in there, which a lot of people have been asking for basically since the Fx standard and ultra days. We'll hear that in a second. You can have 16 seconds of delay in the delay block if you want to do Frippatronic style stuff. And there's a bunch of new digital audio routing options, which are probably the coolest thing about the firmware. And apparently there's an updated power amp modeling algorithm in here. So all the kind of non-master volume amps are sounding really, really good. The amps in general sound great, but let's hear this brand new one, the 59 Bass Guy Jump. I've got a matching factory cabinet. What is it? Factory 202. I'm going to just play a few things and twist some knobs. Let's hear it. That thing gets nasty really quickly. I'm going to try it out with one of my cab IRs. What is this? LT-TV Mix number 7. I'm just really comfortable with this cab, so I figured it would be nice to hear it with like an authentic cab choice and then just one that I like the sound of. Let's keep going. This one loves a drive or a compressor in front of it. Let's try the JFET compressor. I'll just bring the drive on the amp down a little bit. And let's try a drive pedal in front of it. Before we try the DS1, maybe let's try the good old Tone of Kings. I really like this one as a kind of bluesy drive. The OCD should be pretty cool with this one as well. Let's try the LP. Whoa, that's a really, really nice combination. That feels really good. And let's hear the DS1 in front of it. This isn't normally how I would use the DS1. I would normally use a real deal DS1 into like an already cranked kind of Marshall or something for a lead sound, but let's just hear it. That's kind of cool, but let's do what I was talking about before. In fact, let's grab a delay block. I'm not going to use 16 seconds of delay. I'll just use one of my favorite kind of delays. As you can see, there's quite a few of these that I really like. Let's go for this kind of halo sort of delay. And let's move over to, do I have a Mark series in here? 5150 Mark series. Let's hear this. So with this particular guitar, I don't really have this dialed in for this guitar. I've got it dialed in for my PRS, which is a lot louder and darker sounding. But nevertheless, we've got some gain happening there. Let's put the DS1 in front of all of that and really get it to kind of smooth it out and fatten it up. That's kind of the vibe. That's kind of the vibe. I have no idea how Steve Vai or Joe Satriani set theirs, if they use it into an amp that's already distorted or a clean amp, but I really like it in that kind of situation. It's like a thickening agent. It's like when you add corn flour or some kind of starch to, I don't know, a dish that you're cooking that's kind of liquidy. It just makes everything gooey and together. So I really like that. There was another thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, the digital audio routing. So this is really, really cool. To do this though, I need to just kind of change my whole setup. So let's do a scene change. This is fairly easy to set up. You can use Axe Edit or you can use the front panel. I'm going to use Axe Edit. So let's go Tools, Setup, and we want to navigate down here to the Audio tab. So first thing I want to set up is I want to set the digital input source. I've set it as USB, channels 5 and 6, and I've also set input 2 to be that digital audio source. So what's going to happen is anything coming from channels 5 and 6, this is going to be my aux track in my DAW, is going to go to input 2, and I've got input 2 on the grid right here. I'm feeding it into a pitch block as well. Don't worry too much about that. The important thing is that whatever is coming from my DAW is hitting this spot on the grid and then being routed as usual. The other thing that's happening is the USB output mapping. Output 2 is getting mapped to USB channels 3 and 4. So if I come over to my session and I go to my aux track where I've got Valhalla Supermassive loaded up, this is a free plugin by the way, and it's amazing. You should definitely go and get it. I'm going to set the input and output to come from my interface. So it's going to be input 3. That corresponds, remember, to output block number 2. And then I'm going to send the output of this aux track, I'm going to send it down, what is it? USB channel 5 and 6, which corresponds again on Axe Edit to this input here. So basically, this block is digitally going here, and then this is coming back to this block, and I'll give you a very quick example of what this all sounds like. Furthermore, I've also added an expression pedal assignment here to the output level. I've got FC1 pedal number 1 so that I can swell this in parallel. Sounds pretty cool. So that's one way to do it. I guess if you were doing live looping or you had a bunch of MIDI instruments in a DAW like Ableton, you could sync everything up, send it, say, to input 2 of your Axe FX 3, do a bunch of processing in the Axe FX, or have expression pedals hooked up to those inputs that are coming in and control them dynamically. Or if you were using, say, playing to a click live and you had backing tracks and, I don't know, you wanted to process a raw DI guitar, rhythm guitar while you're playing a solo and have it through an amp or something like that, you could do that and it would all work. So there's some pretty amazing possibilities with this new digital audio routing. And yeah, that's kind of the real headline there. I know we got a DS DS1, and I know a DS1's awesome, and I know there's new power amp modeling and things like that, but I did want to talk about that. Speaking of new power amp modeling, one amp that just sounds fantastic in here is the Plexi 6C-A7. At the stock settings, this is the sound of rock and roll. So good, stock settings, amazing stuff. I'm gonna grab my PRS really quickly and just kind of riff out with some of the high gain amps to finish off. And I will say thank you all for watching the video. You can go to the Fractal forum to grab this firmware. Make sure you back up before you do a firmware update. That's best practice. Otherwise, I'll see you all real soon. Thanks for watching.